Welcome to our Spirit Rules Clinic, Coaches Clinic. Want to thank Varsity Spirit for putting this on. We are going to go ahead and begin. You guys have the agenda. I just figured it out about 2 minutes ago what I was doing. So I'm with you. We're going to work here. We're going to do part of the Rules Clinic here together. And then dance will go upstairs and we'll do the rules with just dance coaches. And then cheer, we'll come back down here and do the rules with just cheer. There was one thing I got the past few years that I kept looking, like I told you, I want to get better and better at this, is that cheer and dance rules clinics do not mix together in a lot of ways. So we really want to focus on dance this year in the rules, and then we want to focus on cheer. So, sorry about my voice. So if you hear kind of a crackle or if I start coughing, I got a lot of water. So we'll just go ahead and get started. As you see right here, there's something different. There's something different on this slide that we just opened up this week, actually on Thursday and Friday. We have a brand new website that if you go on nmact.org, it's a brand new site. And within the site, we are rebranding ourselves and we have a brand new logo. So that right up there is our brand new logo. The reason for the new logo is this logo has been in place since the 80s. And as you know, as time goes on and on and on, you kind of need to rebrand yourself. And one thing about our old logo, it never had Nmaa on it. It was really small print that says New Mexico Activities Association. And nobody calls us that. We're the Nmaa, and that's what everybody knows us of. So that's where we came for the rebranding. So you're going to see that quite a bit now as we go forward this year. First day of competition, October 30th, 2017. It seems very, very early. If you have not been on the website, the new sanctioned competitions that people have asked for are up. So if you've sent in something to me and you're up on the website, and I have approved those competitions. So you may want to look at that. That is up there. If you are thinking about having a competition, send that form in to me, but make sure when you're doing that form, look at the dates, because I can only approve 2 on a weekend, and it has to be 1 north, 1 south. So just look at those dates and see if anything works. Make sure you get all your information online on December 15th. Now, as far as pictures, don't panic about the pictures, because I know a lot of you change, and you got different people coming in and everything else. We do need the pictures in by mid-February, though. And the reason for the pictures more than anything else is for the program, for the state championship. So get everything else online, get your rosters online, keep your rosters up to date. But as far as the pictures, don't worry so much about it till February. Any questions? State championships in the pit, March 23rd and 24th. Make sure you have everything, your registration form by February 16th into our office. And we have no exceptions. If they are not in by February 16th, you cannot come later. Years past, there used to be a fee. We cannot do that because we put that date back for you, and we have to get everything moving by February 16th. We've got to get the schedule out. We have to get, the programs done and so on and so forth. Now, at the pit, most of you, I see a lot of new faces, but at the pit, it's run really, really well right now at the pit. One thing, though, that we need to really focus in, what we noticed, we went from CDs years ago to just the tablets or the phone, and that worked out great. But now what we're noticing at the pit is the tablets are much better than the phones. So if you may want to try to get a tablet for that. The sound is crisper. We don't have any hiccups with the cords. Whenever we had a hiccup with music, it was with an iPhone. So try to get tablets if you can. The phones still work, don't get me wrong, but the tablets are a little bit clearer. And we just talked about sanctioned competitions. Again, they're online. I've been getting emails and saying the 16-17 is online, and it's not. So I don't know if you guys have updated something, your phone. 1718 is online. Are you getting a new website or are you getting the old website? It's still, see, when we click on it, it's 1718, so I don't know. I've got a few. We will work at that and see what's going on. If you, when you pop up, are seeing the 16, 17 schedule, email me. It might be something in the server or something else like that, but we'll figure that out. I know a few of you are getting 16, 17 for some reason, but 17, 18 is online. Now, this is where, when you go to sanction competition, for those of you that are having competition, or for those of you that are going to competition, spirit is considered a sport. And in our bylaws, you can only compete against member schools. So you can only compete against NMAA schools. If you are having a competition, you must separate high school versus club. You cannot mix them together. Okay, it's against the rules. Make sure you're doing a high school competition. And if you are trying to get some extra money, a lot of people do allow a club in there, you have to separate those competitions. Make sure. Okay? Now, where our problem is in the middle schools. Middle schools are members of our association. And if you do not know what middle schools are members, make sure you email me, because at the middle school level, middle school members, club members. We get a lot of club middle school members. They cannot mix. And you will be surprised. There are some schools that are not sanctioned by us in the middle schools. I'll give you one example. Hope Christian is not a middle school member. Sandia Prep is not a middle school member. So those things, just because they're high school members, now those are just two off the top of my head, there's many more. But just because they're a high school member does not mean they're a middle school member. So as you're doing your competition, make sure if you want to send me a list as to who's in your competition, and I can tell you who's a member and who's not a member. And you need to separate them out, because it is against the Bible. Now, as far as judges, people running competitions, our judges are being paid for NMAA member schools. They're not being paid to sit there to do all the club world afterwards. So if you are going to keep the same judges doing the member schools and the club, then you're going to need to pay them a little bit more, because that fee on our website is for member schools only. Does that make sense there? Those guys are there for 10, 11 hours and they're doing club, but they are trained for member schools, not the club world. So you need to make sure you communicate with them and see if they would be able to stay if you want them to stay all day. Questions with that? Okay, middle schools. Our member middle schools, if you go on our website, and a lot of people did not know it was on our website, it's been on our website for years, but it will be updated a little bit more. Is it updated? Not yet. So it will be updated. But there are certain rules for middle schools. Certain things middle schools can't do. And thus, the reason to separate the competition. Because we got so many calls with the middle schools, because our member middle schools were following the rules of NMAA. Our club middle schools were doing everything under the sun, but then you were giving only one trophy for the middle schools. And so you need to make sure you're separating those out. If those middle schools are club, they go over here. Again, if they're ours, they come over here. They're not doing the same type of trick. Vanessa, anything on that? Okay.
That's correct.
Any questions? Coaches, make sure you're licensed. Make sure you are ACA certified. If anybody is working with your kids, make sure they're ACA certified. You can go on nfhslearn.com and get certified. Now, somebody said, well, why do we have to do that? Because it's licensing. Every single person, guys, that's working with your kids, make sure they're ACA certified. I mean, even if they're a volunteer, this is safety. And if something happens to one of your kids and we're in a court of law and they're not ACA certified, your school is going to be in a heap of trouble. So make sure you get them ACA certified, every single person. And everybody, volunteer or not, should be licensed through the Public Education Department. Now, licensure, if you're new coaches and you're not licensed yet, you need to do the coaches, fundamentals of coaching on the NFHS Learn, and you also need to do the first aid safety course on NFHS Learn. Once you do those two, you'll get a certificate, and then you send that into the Public Education Department. The licensure is not done by us. The licensure is done by the Public Ed Department. All we are doing are giving you the resources to get the certificates to go get your license. But it's up to the Public Education Department. Now, when you are renewing your license, what I found out is when you renew, the Public Education Department automatically sends you from level 1 to level 2, or from level 2 to level 3. So even if you're renewing, you're really changing levels, which means you will have to do the first aid safety course. So if you are going and sending to the PED to get some more time on your license, make sure you do the first aid safety course, because that's going to be required. Any questions on licensure?
So make sure they know that.
Okay, your ACA, Vanessa just reminded me, ACA certification lasts for 4 years. So if you're ACA certified, it's 4 years. If you are in doubt, email me and we'll find out. We have a list and we can let you know when your licensure for ACA is going to expire. So make sure you're aware of that. Also, you must be ACA certified and licensed to be a coach at the state competition. You will not be able to go back in the warm-up room. You will not be able to do any of that unless you're licensed and certified. Now, I know some parents come to help you guys. That's different. If they're coming, you need to make sure we know that they're just a parent to help. But they won't be able to go back and forth. And your music people do not have to be licensed, because all they'll be doing is doing the music. Yes, ma'am. Okay, the question was about CPR. And I don't know if it's CPR or first aid you're talking about, but let me tell you the two. CPR is not required in our state to be a coach. It should be. We're probably about one of the only states that don't require CPR, so that's my next step. But the first aid course, safety course, to get licensed must be done by the NFHS Learn site. If you have a first aid card, that's not going to work. You need to take the safety from NFHS Learn. The reason being is because the Public Education Department could not decipher who's really trained which way by a little first aid card and what they know. So they had to make sure it's uniform and go with that one class. That answer the question? We need help. Judges training. And we separated it out this year because we really want to make sure we focus in on the judges training. So in your area, South, September 30th in Las Cruces, here in Albuquerque, October 21st. If you have any student athletes that have been out of high school for a year, try to get them to be a judge. We need judges. And if we have more judges, we can have more competitions. That's why we can only have 2 max. We do not have enough judges to go around. We also need more judges in the northwest part of the state and in the southeast part of the state and southwest. So try to get people in those areas to become a judge. And Leo, Jaramillo, and Vanessa work with the judges, so they'll be doing the training on those 2 dates. Classifications remain the same this year. Just a little bit warning, classifications will be changing in 2018. So we'll be going back to 5 classes. I will have to look to see what schools are where once that gets voted on as to how we'll do the classifications, but we can talk about that next summer. As for now, nothing has changed as far as classifications. The only thing that may change, if we get more small school dance teams, we could probably break that out to A through AAA and then 4A. But we need to get more small school dance teams. It's got to be more than 2. So if we get 4, we'll probably separate that out. Okay, so if you're a small school, try to get some of your colleagues to have a dance team. I put that on Tyler. Tyler's doing dance in New Mexico. I put that on Tyler to get more dance teams in the small schools. So hopefully that happens. But we'll see as it gets closer. This is the wrong slide. Just to let you know. Dance, no changes to score sheets. Cheer, you will see it today. There's going to be an update, a little bit of an update on game day. It's a little bit more clear. You will see that today. So I put this on before we figured out what was going to happen. So yes, there is a small change. Make sure you look at that. We will have the updated score sheets right away after this conference. Dance, we'll talk about that later by ourselves. Safety surfaces, make sure you are aware when you get from the football field to the gym. Make sure you have the proper mats to do some of your stunts. There are safety concerns with what you're doing, especially on the basketball court. You cannot do all those tricks that you do. The football field is different because you're on a rubberized track, most of you, or you're on grass. But once you get into the basketball court, some of those stunts that you are doing cannot happen. So make sure you're looking at your rule book and knowing what you can and cannot do. Here are a couple courses. Music copyright course. I am not going to talk about music copyrights, but I suggest that in September when this course comes up, it is going to be free. It's on nfhslearn.com. They'll go over all the music copyright. Right now, we're fine. A lot of you guys know about the copyright rules and regulations. They're hitting really hard. The activities that have been sued so far are show choir. Show choir is the big one right now because there's a lot of mixing of that music. But it's trickling down. They're really hitting the bands, making sure the bands understand what they can and cannot do. So I highly suggest you look at that course and make sure you're covered any which way. I'm not going to ask for any certification. I'm not asking anything about that. I want to just give it to you to make sure you're covered. Okay? The NMAA is covered at the pit. We are licensed at the pit. However, we're covered. That doesn't mean you are covered individually. So make sure you look at that course. Coaching cheer and dance course is really good. And also www.spiritrules.com is another good resource.
Is there something we can look at prior to this?
Okay, the question was, is there somewhere else we could look before that course? I can give you some material. So email me and I can send something out to you on it. But Varsity website has a bunch of it on the music as well. Okay, my last slide. At the beginning I said we're trying to rebrand ourselves. And I remember, I think it was about 7 years ago, gosh, time's flying, might be 8 years ago, that I went to the board of directors and we moved spirit as a sport. And a lot of that had to do with numbers. There were some coaches that didn't feel that they were looked at the same as coaches, and there's a lot of reasons for it. But I'm bringing back to you, now that I've been in your spirit world this is actually I'm going on 6 in your spirit world. I'm asking myself, did we create a monster? And the reason I'm saying that is, excuse me, when I get phone calls from parents, when I get phone calls from coaches, and they're asking opinions. And the cheerleaders are not anymore ambassadors of the school. And the cheerleaders are not at football games. And the cheerleaders are not at basketball games. And the cheerleaders are not doing the little goodie bags they used to do when I was growing up and all of that good stuff that they used to do for the athletes. Are we focusing too much on sport? And have we created a monster? And some people would say yes, some people would say no. But my son right now is a high schooler, and it bothers me to no end. He's a basketball player. When we go to a home game, and there's no spirit whatsoever there. There's no ambassadors. And that's not even just cheerleaders or dance. That's also student body. But where the student body comes from are our leaders in the school, and our leaders in the school should be our spirit kids. Those are our leaders. And so I've taken back to the commission, which is made up of athletic directors, to try to change this a little bit. Now, what did I do last year? We went to game day. And we're going to continue with game day. And game day, some of you liked it, some of you didn't. I think after you did it the first time this year, you kind of liked it better than when you were going into it. And it will get better and better. But the reason of game day was, let's take what we do on a daily basis and make a competition out of it. And so we were at Rhode Island at a national conference, and New Mexico was the top of the spirit world in the nation, at the high school, at the National Federation. Because we mixed game day with competition, cheer with music. A lot of them were separating it out. We were the only state that put it together. And so it was pretty cool because they're asking a lot of questions about it. But where are we with this? Don't forget, guys, don't forget the sportsmanship aspect of it. Don't forget that your girls, your boys are leaders. And let's just keep working towards that. If I can't get it back to an activity, and some, like I said, want it that way and some don't, if I can't get it back to activity or whatever, it should not matter whether we're an activity or a sport. It should not matter. That's just here. What should matter is what we do on a daily basis at school and what our kids do on a daily basis. That's what matters. And yes, there's more opportunity. And it's still like the athletes, and I tell these athletes, the ones that are playing basketball and baseball and everything else, guys, scholarships. These parents we're going to get a scholarship. Cheer is getting into this club world now, because we're going to go, do a scholarship and cheer in college. Guys, we have so many kids that spirit in high school is what they're going to do. And we can shape them with spirit in high school. You don't need to worry about getting ready to go to spirit in college. If they're that good, they're going to get there. What we need to do is we need to shape our kids. And so I'm just asking you, because I tell all my sport people, it starts with spirit. And I truly, truly believe that. How they walk the halls, how they walk and talk, how they are role models for kids. That's what we need to get back to. So I'm just asking you, let's not create a monster and let's not get this monster bigger. Let's come back and we need to be simple. We need to go back. A lot of you, I see a lot of your faces. I mean, I was in high school in the 70s, so I'm really dating myself. But there are some of you that were with me in the 70s and some that were in the 80s, but there's a lot that were in the 2000s too in here. But in the 80s, 70s and 80s, guys, it was the coolest thing. Everybody looked up to spirit. Everybody looked up to the dancers. Everybody looked up to the cheerleaders. Let's get there again. It's not all about competition. It's about who they are as people. So I thank you very much. As you guys know, I'm a phone call away. I don't have a secretary. Most of you have my cell numbers. Most of you have my landlines. You have my emails. 24/7, just make sure you call. And I'll be sure to get back with you. But I thank you so much for all you do, because you are the leaders of those kids that I want to be leaders. Okay, thank you so much.